Crashing back down to earth this week. Those questions we had a couple weeks ago, safe to say they might have been papered over by that Miami match. We get to have a real conversation, though, this week tonight about who FC Cincinnati is and what they need to be in order to keep hopes alive for that Shield or Cup race. How should FC Cincinnati handle Leagues Cup, players to look out for? No need to panic, though, because I think it's safe to say FCC can still win any given week, and most of you probably feel that deep down in your bones, but boy, are their weaknesses on display, and certain teams have found a way to tap into that and show the world. It seems like we are in the outscore our problems era, and that could continue to lead to more emotional matches unless things get patched up here soon. You're listening to Cincinnati Soccer Talk. I'm Boston Brazel, joined by Bryan Weigel, Justin Blair, and Mr. Bryan Biedenbach. A rare 0-point week this week. Let's dive into it. First up, we'll give a big shout out to our sponsor and friends at Apollo Home. Summer is still in full swing. It's burning up, especially here at my house. If you have not had your AC inspected or you're starting to have problems, give Apollo a call or schedule an appointment online at apollohome.com. HVAC, plumbing, electrical, they do it all. Reach out to Apollo, give them a call, like I said, or book online at apollohome.com. Really appreciate their sponsorship this season. All right, let's introduce the guys and dive into your best and worst. We will start with the man, the myth, the legend, Bryan Weigel.
Hey, everybody. I guess my best of the week was I got to take my kids to the game. They've experienced the Luka effect. He's definitely not a fluke in that sword formation, so I love seeing him up there. I think we got a lot to work out there. So I'm going to give Luka and then my kids the best of the week. My worst is I love him. I think he tries hard, but we gotta move on, or at least explore options without Alvis Powell as a starting center back or playing meaningful minutes. The guy just doesn't have the natural instincts in that center back, right center back role. We've seen it time and time again. I think my comment throughout the match was, for every one great Alvis play, you have at least maybe one and a half bad plays from Alvis. And we saw that on the evening, subbed out at half. So unfortunate, but we still support him. He's one of our own. But yeah, I think it's time to look for an upgrade, and I'm sure we'll talk about that later on.
Yeah, everyone was saying Pat Noonan had all the right picks versus Miami, and then I've seen more Noonan blame this week than I think I've seen in a long time. So we'll get into your best and worst. I see filing in the chat, but there's a little bit of that already out there. All right, Justin, you're up next. Welcome in. Hope you had a good week.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to take the wife down to the game again, and again, we came away with a loss, but again, it was a fun time, man. Going out to different bars, catching up with people, pre-match in the stadium. You can't beat a game day at TQL Stadium.
Yeah, you're right. It's always a good time to be out. And I mean, even if you lose, at least you got a Saturday night out. All right, give us your best and worst, bud.
So for me, my best is Joey Akapono's double block on the line. If you guys didn't see that with Hartford Athletic this weekend, that was incredible stuff by Joey. One was with the foot, and the other one was a header.
Where was the keeper? That's what I wanted to know.
He was out of position, and then the second shot came in so quick and from range that Joey was still at the same position and was able to make the header. And I think one of those shots was Marcanic, a former FC Cincinnati player. So it was pretty cool seeing some USL level action go on. And Joey, of course, is still doing pretty good things at Hartford out on loan.
Are you hinting at anything?
Maybe it's time for a call up. Maybe we're going to recall him. Who knows? I think he's done great with Hartford. I think that it's probably the right place for him at this point in his career.
All right, next up, Bryan Biedenbach, who was in town this Saturday from Indiana. How was your trip?
It was quick, man. It was one of those there and back in a day. Got home, 1:30 a.m. But it's always worth it. And we obviously took a loss, so that's no fun. But it's always fun coming down, bringing a friend of mine, bringing a buddy that's never been to a Cincinnati game, so that was all good. My best is, I mean, we could pick out some things from the match, but my best was just being there early, getting to pregame a little bit, hanging out at Northern Row for a little bit, walking. We didn't follow the march. They left a little bit before we did, but we got to the stadium before they did. So seeing the march come in right in front of us is just a good time, and don't always get to do that when I get down there. So that was a lot of fun. My worst. I think we'll get into it later. You called it out from the chat a little bit. Is the same formation, different players with a drastically different outcome. I don't think we had the personnel out there for that formation, and I know we'll get into that more. But when I saw it, I was a little concerned already with Kelsey up top and Kubo push back. But we saw the result, and that was my worst.
Well, we've heard a little bit of chatter about how this team can play without Obi, and I think we got a little bit of the answer this week. I mean, I don't want to say it's like a deal breaker, but boy,
it was something, man. It shows, I think, that formation needs someone like an Obi sitting right behind right in front of the defense and sitting right behind the other defensive mids. So we'll get into that. I won't talk too much now.
Sure. I had a weird week. I got to go to the game with an old friend. So it's been a while since I've done the I guess the bro soccer game landscape. So when you're with somebody who's a big soccer fan, you don't get those guys games very much, and just put it up. So got to do that this week. Got to go back in the Bailey I think for the first time this year, and wish it was a better atmosphere. Going up 3-4 goals. What had me so psyched was that Miami game. It's like the Bay Area was on fire, and then I get to go to probably one of the worst ones of the summer. Oh well, you can't win them all. That's how the dice come out of the hand every once in a while. But I will say, on the best side of things, FC Cincinnati do still have spark. Like, when they were down 2-0, that game wasn't over. It took and they almost rallied 2-0, 2-2 back, and then and unfortunately, a dagger of a third goal came in and ended the match after that. But with this team, with Lucho Acosta on here, nothing is ever fully over, and you can't really leave. And I will say that we've all seen an era of FC Cincinnati losing where there was no hope and there was no peace. And I guess we have that now. So I do appreciate that as my best. Worst, I don't think we're the same team we were a month and a half ago. Not in any shape or form. I just didn't think those backline injuries would be this serious, but they have been. And then if you throw anything else out of alignment, like not having an Obi, not having Miles Robinson's now going to be out for Chicago, we're in trouble. We're in deep trouble back there, and we have got to figure out a solution, because Bryan's right. Elvis Powell and company is not particularly it. I think this team has depth, but it just doesn't have endless depth. And when you have multiple injuries to one position, you're in trouble. Summer window, please save us. I mean, it's asking a lot. It's asking a lot of a summer window, but I think that's what we need here. And I guess my other bad is, what is it with Argentinians getting hurt this week? seems like all the big ones in the league are
ankle injuries too, right?
Yeah. We'll touch on that a little bit later. If you don't know what we're talking about, I don't want to scare you. It's not the end of the world. Rupesh, his best, absolutely nothing. The pessimistic is back. We've missed you, buddy. We've missed you. All these wins. It seemed like you were coming around and being an optimist. That's why he hasn't been on watching our live show the last 3 weeks. We won too many games. He only comes back for the losses. His worst, Celentano's decision making. You are not the first person to bring that up to me, so we'll probably touch on that a little bit. Clifford Adams' best is that we are still on top. His worst is he's going to be unusually opinionated tonight. Uh-oh. There goes our chat room. Jose, best. I could not think of anything significant other than Robinson being solid in the center. Red card notwithstanding. Worst, no coordination among the lines. The absence of Obi was obvious. So we will, thanks for those. I'll get Jay's in here real quick. Lucho's MVP chances might have gone up if Messi is injured, question mark. That's his best. Worst, a lot of this FCC play was flat, and Santos still runs less than Michael Myers. All right. Well, thanks for those. We appreciate it. And I did get to see you, Rupesh. I did get to see you before the game this week. That's right. It was good seeing you guys. All right, let's dive into this match. It was a 3-1 loss to Charlotte at home. FC Cincinnati still has their road form. That will come up again this week, and we'll see if they can get the MLS record on that. However, they have not been playing as great at home over the last several weeks. I think the biggest highlight here, we've already touched on it, no Obi. So let's break it down. How did FC Cincinnati fill the hole? Well, they moved Kubo back to midfield and Kelsey up top, but they busted out the old sword formation again. It just didn't have the same, the tip of the spear, I guess. The hilt was missing. I don't know what analogy I want to go with. What'd you guys think, guys?
Man, I was nervous, as I mentioned earlier, just seeing the lineup, knowing that Kubo was moving back. He has proven himself to be much more offensive minded. We know that about him, but he played that role at defensive mid a few seasons back for us. He just does okay. Doesn't do it like Obi, but it left, I think moving him back was it left an absence up front because Kelsey just looked lost in the midst of that formation. It didn't look like he knew where to go, where to run, what runs to make, when to come back, when to press. He just looked like he needed a partner up there, not two guys behind him.
I've been thinking about that. This kid's super young. He's still acclimating to the team. He doesn't have everything ironed out yet, and you pull the rug from under him. You take away a strike partner. You take away the style of build-up. And in all honesty, we weren't getting into the right positions to make Kelsey successful. We're trying to play the ball quickly way behind him, not playing balls through. If we were driving to the end line, we were getting the ball like right off the post and having no angle to get back to him. So I'm not sure it's 100% his fault. He's still a 19-year-old figuring things out here. I want to see more of him. But that being said, if we're truly playing for Supporter Shield, Yu Kubo seems to be clicking. Now, we'll also see what happens with scouting reports and people looking at how to attack that formation and style.
Yeah, I'll jump back in. I think you're right. Kelsey's young, and I know that he seems to be up and down in games. Like he's really good in some and pressures and beats up on guys and holds the ball. And I think you're right that it was just a new formation he didn't know how to adjust to. But I will say this: you're right. We weren't getting in spaces. How many times did Lucho touch the ball in the first 20 minutes of that?
Right. You guys are talking about
still.
Kelsey, and I'm like, they both were up there on an island.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he stood still though. I kept saying that to little Bryan. Like, I just don't feel like Lucho's getting into it. He's not moving around. He did, after the water break later. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But yeah, very frustrating. It seemed to be like Luka was the only one, but also, we weren't necessarily getting any passes from the back line and through the midfield to those guys. Credit to Charlotte. They were sitting right on Buka. They were sitting around on Kubo, making things difficult. And those guys weren't even, moving forward as well as they should either. We knew that scouting report. We said it last week. They're going to be tight defensively and tough to break down. And that's exactly who they were.
Yeah, when teams dig their heels in at the midfield line against FC Cincinnati, particularly they create a wall. And several times this year, FC Cincinnati's failed to be able to break and advance the ball past midfield, struggle. Like the wings get up there and then they just stop. Like the transition just gets broken. They funnel everything to the outside, don't allow anything in the inside. And it seems that FC Cincinnati just hasn't had that answer. So connecting up play to those attacking options, I agree with both of you. It's probably hard to grade them right now.
I had a sense about halfway through, probably the 20-minute mark, that wasn't it Charlotte last year that Lucho diced up for the goal of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
just feel like they had 2 men on him the whole time. They weren't about to let that happen again. Like it was almost like, we're going to make everyone else beat us this time. We're not going to let him do it. And so he stood still, maybe made it too easy, but maybe they were just chasing him and he was tired of running, not getting the ball.
Well, I mean, the first 20 minutes were like firecrackers for FC Cincinnati, completely on the front foot. And then the game kind of settled in. It seemed like FC Cincinnati kind of just relaxed. They weren't chasing after it. Like the goal will come through, right? Well, we're clearly on the better foot attacking wise. But I don't know if they just gassed themselves in that first 20 minutes or if it was just, just overconfidence. Like we're going to be able to turn this on as long as, Charlotte don't concede or score. And of course they did.
We had a March to Match Day podcast, or Jersey Swap, as Jeff Tebbets calls it, and it was that we had a Charlotte guest on this week, and I think we kind of razzed him a little bit because he warned us that the back line of Charlotte is pretty stout, and the stats also agree with that. I expected, after listening to Jersey Swap, that this match would be tough, but it would be deeper. Like it would be FC Cincinnati would be on the attack. They just wouldn't be able to get through that middle. They wouldn't be able to, have Lucho. He'd get frustrated, and then Luca wouldn't be able to cut in like he has, and because they have a little bit more discipline, I guess, than a lot of the teams we've played recently, including Miami. They were pressing us. The midfield was crowded. Like you guys were spot on here, but I guess I was surprised. Were you surprised at how tough it was? FC Cincinnati just could not work the ball.
It kind of seemed like an actual Dean Smith style game, like playing forward, attacking minded, keeping, up forward pace, having a high back line. That's all the calling card of Dean Smith at Villa. So it's really surprising, that they've kind of settled into this moniker of sitting back and kind of absorbing pressure. So I expected that to be how they were going to be coming into the season. And they just unleashed it kind of surprisingly against probably the team that you would want to unveil that kind of mindset. So
it's wild though. Like we won the XG game 2.2 to 1.4 in this whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah. And after the first 30 minutes, how much XG did FC Cincinnati get?
Oh, thanks for giving me that one.
You got a calculator there?
Oh my God. I have to go down through this now.
Yeah, I think it just completely died out. I think they just like the goals.
I don't know. I don't know about that because we had some really good chances later on in the match. I mean, you had a shot from Santos that was point blank. You had a shot from Halsey. You had within the span of a couple seconds, you had a shot from Assad, a shot from Kubo that rang off the post. So I mean, we were still getting. I'm not sure I agree wholeheartedly with your assessment on the first 20, maybe the first 10, 11 minutes. Then we kind of got into a lull until that water break late in the first.
I think it's a perfect storm, though. Like you talked about, you expecting them to sit back and bunker. Instead, they pressed that, without Obi.
Did they press?
Yeah.
They pressed higher than I pressed to.
Every time.
And they were super hard in that middle third, guys.
In my opinion, FCC didn't seem willing to move the ball forward, and they just kept running up, especially when they had momentum. They were pressing.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, it was a perfect storm that there was no Obi to win the ball. So Kubo is kind of running back and forth trying to get the ball. They're pressing him. Buka can't get upfield to receive that second pass. And Lucho was just kind of lost in the shuffle. So if Lucho's not getting the ball, why not keep pushing guys forward and keeping the ball across that back line that is already weakened?
Well, we were getting the back line of our back three, back five was getting up the field. We were passing the ball, and then how they were getting their offensive chances wasn't us turning the ball over in our third. It was us turning it over in the midfield, and then them sending these long balls over the top with one or two guys to run on. I mean, that second goal was a turnover off of a throw-in, which is idiotic for Assad throwing the ball to Ibuka under ridiculous pressure, which led to a great shot. I mean, there's one pass quick. I mean, that's what they're doing. They're moving the ball quick. They're counterattacking fast. The first goal was a wild header, which Alvis Powell looked like a high school kid going against a pro. Got to be better there, Roman, near post. I don't know. I think they were quick. They knew what they wanted to do and they executed. And how many times, like, we give up shots. Like, we've always given up these long distance shots, these shots from range. We haven't been great on corner kicks and stuff like that. But
understatement.
We've honestly, like, I feel like Pat Noonan's kind of like conceded some of these out of the box or deep shots. Like, I don't know, 19 times out of 20, we're going to make that save, but not this past night.
Well, we got to talk about it. We've seen it in the chat already, and our own Nick Suberling messaged us this week, today actually, and said, you guys better talk about the fall of Roman Celentano. And Bryan touched on
That's why he's not the host of the show anymore, because he's disconnected from reality. The same dude who, like, was it Wednesday or what last week happened? Like, he kept us in the game. Was it versus DC? Big saves, and then whatever. Yes, he should have done better. Should have done better, but I mean, come on. I'm not ready to stay put Alec Cannon. I mean, Alec's great. I put him in for Leagues Cup. Wonderful. Give Roman a little break.
I wouldn't be on Roman's case, but that first goal, it hit his hands. Like, it hit if it hits both your hands, and we've seen this where Roman seems to be favoring the push out, the punches, then he's not catching the ball anymore. And I don't know why he's kind of switched to that method.
Has he ever caught the ball though? I think it's always been that push. Like, he makes a save and he pushes the ball to the top of the box, and then it's a rebound shot.
Yeah, I think that's recent history more than not. I do think he used to be a little more sure-handed. But yeah, everything since he's come back from injury has been a punch, has been dishing the ball out, just parrying it out to the side, usually out of the way, but lately it's been to that oncoming runner. I think his decision making has absolutely been lacking, I think, in recent weeks. But I wonder again how much of that is when you're in that position and you are uncertain of the guys in front of you, because you've got an Alvis Powell who's fast, who defends well one-on-one, but his head is never on a swivel and he always forgets that back post man. Do you stay on your line knowing that back post guy is coming, or do you come out and go for that ball? I think I would have liked to have seen him come out and punch that ball away or catch the ball, but he's got to keep his head on a swivel to see that guy coming and just kind of be there because he knows Powell doesn't see him. So maybe it's a communication issue. Again, I do agree his decision-making has been lacking, but I do understand in that role, a lot of it comes with your confidence in the guys in front of you and what they're going to do. And if you don't know how they're going to respond, it's hard to make one decision or another because you're always going to look a fool.
Yeah, we've always said his strengths by far were his goaltending abilities, and then weaknesses were ball delivery. It just never seems to be the great pass downfield that hits your guy, when Roman's kicking those out. So I hate to see him have rough matches. I guess, you sit in a goal long enough, you're going to have bad games. So, and I'm not ready to fire him yet either, Bryan, but he is on Boston watch. We need a audio effect for that. Somebody get that going. Rupesh says Roman not coming out to clear the ball was a large reason that Robinson got the red card. Roman staying home, is that a problem?
I think you kind of what Bryan was alluding to. You don't play different given the personnel in front of you. I know that might sound crazy, but like, they've trained with you, they've watched you match in, match out. They know what to expect from you as the goalkeeper. You need to go do your job. And I think he is a little bit more timid, and rightfully so. I mean, that is an incredible drop down in talent. You have two very young center backs plus a guy who plays right wing back or right back, playing a pseudo center back. And so I can understand Roman doing that, but yeah, staying on your line. If you're normally the guy that's going out to get it, and you know you don't have aerial threats in the box, you need to get out and punch the balls or catch them, even like you were saying.
Kevin first blamed it on Roman's stash, but he has since changed his mind and said, I said a few weeks ago on here, I don't think he's vocal enough with the center backs as far as directing where the players are.
He's not.
I agree.
It's still, maturing into that role responsibility. Roman is still improving. This is his third year now in the league, second year as a starter through the season. So he's still maturing through that role, and it's kind of hard when you're having this revolving door of center backs. To be honest with you, he started with Cameron, and Pedersen and Hagelin. So now we're here with Kip Keller and Murphy and Powell. So it's just a revolving door of center backs. So that communication aspect, it needs a little bit more of a solid foundation before you can feel comfortable enough with the different guys and how to communicate with them, because it looks great in a slow motion replay, but these things are happening fast, and you have to process all that and communicate it effectively. And he's learning; he's still getting better.
I agree. I think he's learning a lot this season without the guys in front of him that he's been comfortable with. The communication aspect is the part of his game I'd like to see improve more. And somebody was commenting that he was vocal, he was yelling, he was directing his guys on those corners, and but I think it's a whole game thing. I don't think it's a one play, one off kind of thing. It's a controlling the defense the whole time that needs to improve. And with that communication, I think decision making comes with it. I think it follows behind. And I do think that certainly he needs to come out. He needs to grab the ball. He needs to, lacking the communication with those guys, he needs to take charge back there and get the ball when it's in the air. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But are we jumping to the Miles Robinson play yet? Are we getting there? Because I've got a really unpopular take on this one.
First, we will. But first, we got to get into Bryan's weird theory on the water break, because I'm very curious as to what he was talking about there.
It's been like this. It's been like this every match. Like, we come out of the water break, and I leaned over to little Bryan and said, we're going to score within like 10 minutes or 5 minutes, but it's like 10 minutes, whatever. But yeah, it's weird. Like, we come out and Noonan like shakes up the guys. Like, he wakes him up. He moves. A couple weeks ago, we had the exact same thing. It might have been the DC game. We came out right after then, and then boom.
Yep.
And which we did. I mean, we dominated that match from that water break through Luka's called offside goal. I mean, it's wild. What I don't know what he does. He shakes up the guys or what.
I mean, maybe we should give it. Do you see the bottom right corner of my screen? Do you see that little ball of gray and white? That cat has been there for 8 hours in that same sleeping position. That's Acosta before a water break.
Maybe we should put it down. I hate cats. Hate them.
Been there for 8 hours. It might be down already.
No,
that's horrible. With everything going on about this weekend, we're talking about killing cats now. Great.
She did get up once to eat, so I'm pretty sure she's.
Praise Jesus, we're all good now.
But we went right back to that chair to sleep.
Cats are still evil, and dogs are so much better.
All right.
Wasn't he dealing with a foot?
What?
Wasn't Acosta dealing with you made the allusion to Acosta
later in the second half? He got hit, or no, he got hit hard early in the match, and then he got hit hard again second half twice in the second half. I think that seems like some sort of ankle injury. I think Laurel, Pat maybe said he was inside the training center today, but it doesn't look like a long-term injury. It wouldn't shock me one bit if he's one of those on the bench for 70 minutes this week, or on the bench and then comes in for the last 20.
Yeah.
I honestly
It
think
wouldn't shock me if he played 90 minutes.
I honestly think he's been playing since June of 2023 on a kind of a bum foot, because he's always had that gimp. It's that right foot, and he turns it on, and then the rest of the match you can kind of just see him grimacing as he goes to the corner flag. So hopefully he's playing through that well, and maybe he's just slowing down, getting a little bit more like Messi, just ball watching.
Yeah, I'm sure he's tired, but he can rest during the Leagues Cup. I don't think FC Cincinnati has super high ambitions to play hard in that thing. Bryan does, but I don't know about the rest of the club. FC Cincinnati almost came back, though, in this one. Like we said earlier, Costa did his magical thing, scored a goal, brings this thing 2-1, and then luck would have it, we get a penalty. And there it is, FC Cincinnati's big chance to take this one to 2-2 and make it a game for all the home fans. And he finally, I guess he was due to miss one eventually. He finally misses a penalty. The keeper read him all day on that one. He looked where he was going. He shot exactly where he looked, and the keeper just, pounced on it. Kind of a bummer. Although I thought for a second there, as did most of you, that it didn't matter, because Luca Orishano on the rebound after a couple passes scores the makeup goal. It's 2-2. We all celebrate. And then it gets called back for offsides. We've already had some questions about it tonight. Is it a real offsides? People don't understand because Luca himself was not in an offside position when the goal was scored. Who wants to break this down for us?
Well, I think what happened was it was Assad that was offside. There was a pass, I think, that Santos was trying to make to Lucho. It got deflected twice by Charlotte players, and when Santos made that initial pass, Assad was clearly offside, and somehow the ball went up in the air. It slowed down. Assad came back into a quote unquote onside position, but handled the ball before anybody else did, or received the ball before anybody else did. And then the whole situation, he passed it to Lucho, and then that got over to Orishano. He was offside, unfortunately. But it's just another telltale of how horrible the officiating was this whole match. I think 2 goals called back, controversial calls throughout the match. Guido had a Guido game. We've been waiting for it ever since Rochester back in the USL days. Not a big fan of how everything went through, and credit to Luca. It was a hell of a shot, but unfortunately, Assad was way off.
Yeah, it sucks to have that erased for Luca, but I agree. He was pretty far offsides. At first, I was trying to figure out how he impeded. Usually when you have one player that you don't remember touching the ball, Bryan's right, he did. But all I remember was Luca's shot, and I was like, what? So my first thought was, he must have impeded the goalkeeper somehow, but he seemed too far away for that. So go back and watch it. You can kind of see the moment. I don't think it was too terribly hard for the referee or the VAR assistant and everybody for this goal. Clifford has a good point. He said Assad is an off the bench player. Minute 60, I think starting Assad was a disaster. He and Murphy got burnt twice.
Bryan said that last week, and I thought Assad played so well starting against Miami. And again, no Jordi Alba, no threat down that right side. But I have to concede, I think he's a better off the bench player. I think trying to go the full match, he was just out of sorts. And I don't think that pairing, maybe it's the pairing, I don't know. But and maybe it was Lucho not finding space that he normally connects with. But I do think he's better off the bench to lock it down than to run the length of the match.
Everybody's just worse without Obi. So I don't know who's.
I mean, he's $100,000 less than that, $90,000 a year guy. So he's supposed to be a spot starter. He's got great rapport with Lucho. I don't think he was bad. He got an assist on the goal. He contributed to what would have been, unfortunately, an offside goal. So, I mean, there's offensive positives there. He still gets on the ball, can create chances, made some boneheaded plays. But, I mean, if we're looking at the players throughout the whole match, I don't think he's the worst guy on the field by far.
He's the assist for Lucha's goal, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see. I don't have the player ratings. I mean, was he perfect? No, but I mean, for what he is, making a third of what Pal is, he's okay to me. And just that context. I mean, I want us to bring in a fullback.
I think over the years, those of us that have been on here a while, Bryan, myself, Justin, I like to think we've gotten wiser with our takes. We don't rush to
Speak
judge
for yourself, man.
We like data points.
Just depends how many bourbons I have a night.
and I say all this to say there was a time I feel like we'd overreact pretty badly to a loss like this, and but we do have a good chunk of data now of how FC Cincinnati is without their starting center backs, and we've seen all kinds of shifts from Noonan. And I think just my biggest takeaways are this team can still win any match, and this team can easily lose if a team can keep them out of the first 45 minutes. And that's kind of what happened here with Charlotte. The other big kind of takeaway data point I've seen, and this is really where I'm going here, is Santos just doesn't seem to be it. Because
come on, all right, I've been waiting for this. Why the hell are we not playing Aaron Bupenza? I've been saying this for 3 weeks. What the f?
Well,
I said let's start him. I mean, come the f on.
You said it yourself. Charlotte was playing a very high line, and Noonan saw it, and at halftime immediately goes, "I'm putting the fastest guy on this team out there, and we are going to burn people."
You know what I said to Brad? I said, Brad, know who we missed this game? We needed Brenner. We needed Brenner. We need a technical guy.
Absolutely.
A technical guy that can help break things down in that, Kubo. But God, boop, put him in over Santos. Come on. Unless you have a 10 or whatever, anything for the guy to be bought here in a week. What the heck? This is beyond. It's like oh shoot, there was a player that Noonan didn't play much after he took international call up 2 years ago, and he just sometimes he puts guys on the outs. He's not normally like that, but something's there. Who was it? I gotta look it up now.
I mean, we all know what's there.
It wasn't Mata because Mata was injured.
Boop's not exactly an innocent bystander. They got benched. Like,
we're seeing Locati, Sam DeYoung in the chat here.
Yeah, but
the dude got punched in the face. Okay, the dude got punched in the face. Whatever, deal with it. This is ridiculous. This is starting to become a little bit criminal. We have a guy that's worth $7 million, and we're not playing him. Come on.
Joseph says we do not play well against a high press ever. It's because our fast guy doesn't play well. Our burner.
Who's our fast guy?
Santos.
Oh, okay.
Anytime we have to break a high line, we put Santos in, and it's yet to work. It hasn't worked since last year.
Santos's fuel tank is about this much left in this cup right here. That's the problem with Santos. Yeah, he's lightning fast, and he's great for an 85th minute substitution, but he is completely gassed, and part of that is because of the way FC Cincinnati has to play. Same with Inter Miami. They're essentially defending with 10 players. I mean, that's just is what it is, right? Lucho Acosta is going to be on the field. He's not going to defend much, and that creates you're going to look at me, and yeah, those weak presses where he comes running at a center back and then watches the ball.
We don't have to high press.
You don't, but you don't ever see him drop in.
Not true.
Drop in. No, you don't. In an effective way, unless he turns over the ball. Lucho, I will guarantee you can dot map it all you want. Lucho Acosta, it's only when there's a turnover is he actually running back to play defense. He's normally just finding himself in space, and as the ball progresses and as the ball stays in our
Well,
defense,
if he's playing the 9, then it's fine if he doesn't run back, right?
he plays the 10. No, that's the problem.
He plays everything, but he's
You're always
he's in
asking
the 9 a lot.
You're always asking your 11 to play back every single time. And that's Santos. That was Brenner before then. It was Bupinza. It's every time our 11 has to play defense a lot more than any other 11 would in any other team, because our 10 is not, the best defender on planet Earth. And we don't need him to be. He's the MVP, for Christ's sakes. He can be whatever he wants to be. But it's just, that's where Santos gets burned out. He's going box to box, trying to insert himself into a match.
He's 4th in the team on tackles, and it's very close. He's 5th on balls won on the team. I mean, come on.
Lucho?
Yes.
Yeah, he's probably the only one.
Who has more successful tackles, Miles Robinson or Lucho Acosta? Go.
Well, come on.
Go.
Come on now. That's
Lucho Acosta.
Apparently Lucho.
How many of those have been off of an actual possession? Like, they have the ball, not just him and
Tackles and
Orsano
interceptions.
doing
He's 6th
some
on the team.
stupid on the sideline. The ball gets lost, and then he wins the ball back immediately.
This is the wrong
Stat
thing to be
pad.
going after.
I'm not going after him. I was just saying that it has been a reality. You can ask anybody in that training facility. It's a reality. If you play the 11, if you're the winger at FC Cincinnati, if you're the winger, you have to play defense, because your 10 is not playing defense at a level that 10s around the league would be playing. And it's just a reality.
My counterpoint is that Lucho Acosta changes position, and everybody else has to shift to allow for that. I mean, he plays 4 positions. It just depends where he's at in the field.
Yeah,
he has.
I wish y'all could see my face right now. I'm losing my mind.
I do. He has. There are some games where he tracks more than others, but I do appreciate his work rate in some of those moments when he has to get back, when there is a turnover and he has to get back. Otherwise, I don't see the need for it. But I think Obi's the one that makes that possible. That when Obi's in, Lucho knows he can float. Sure. Obi wasn't in, and maybe should have tracked back even more this week. I don't know, but Obi makes that possible.
I need to look at the game. I have the stats numbers. Okay, the stat is number of dribblers challenged. Dribblers, so people with the ball in possession dribbling at you. Okay. Obi Nuobra is 29. Okay, yeah. Guess who's at 27? Lucho Acosta. Guess who's tackled more? Higher success rate. Lucho Acosta. I'm so frustrated right now.
You're absurd. You can sit behind your stats all you want. Just watch the fucking game on the field. You can see very clearly Lucho Acosta staying in our attacking third.
Don't care about your feelings.
That's not feelings. That's just using your eyes. That is an observation. It is you can see it. It's not a feeling that he's sitting behind the line as he sits there and does this to whoever's playing our 9.
Well, here's the thing, though. I think you can see that. You can watch that, and he doesn't look like he tracks, but he chooses the right moments to do it. And I think that's where these stats come from. He knows when to go. And I think that's telling of a smart player. I think he knows when he needs to get back, when he needs to make that tackle, and when he needs to stay forward in open space for the counter.
And it's just the product of the situation. So going all the way back around the circle, Santos is not the answer. He won't be the answer because he is gassed.
Hey, I appreciate that. Oh, man. There's only one big data point left. I think we've talked about I guess if the theme of the show is what do we have enough evidence on, the other big one that we have enough evidence on is that FC Cincinnati blows at corners. Like, we really, really suck. And anytime we kick a ball past that end line, I get scared now. Without Miazga, I don't know what happened. We figured out we can't guard a near post, we can't guard a back post, we can't get any guys high into the air.
It's amazing what happens when you have former wingers as defenders, and yeah, I mean,
everyone's just standing there.
Ian Murphy needs to own up a little bit more, but yeah, Saad got beat. Powell got beat. Clearly, there's an offside play. Yeah, it's getting a little worrisome.
And that's when your keeper needs to step up and grab some of those balls that your defense is not jumping for.
Roman Celentano needs to pretend like it's 11 versus 1. Because I think it might be on some of those kicks.
No doubt.
I mean, it happens, right? Where there is a beautiful ball and a player makes an angled run and gets like just a worldy header that goes the opposite diagonal. And, there's not many keepers in the league that can stop those. It takes, a center back really bullying their guy to prevent that play from happening. But some of the stuff we've seen here is just not tracking, leaving a back post wide open. I mean, this is simple stuff. And
getting pushed over twice, though, like Powell got pushed off the ball, Assad got pushed over, just being stout in the air.
I'm a little worried we're just too small and able to get bullied, to be honest with you, Bryan, to your point. Until we get some guys in here in the summer window that have some height and
good segue.
Skill. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I'm worried about. And so we'll go ahead and jump in there. I think I saw a rumor, but I didn't get to dive too much into it. So I'm hoping one of you guys have center back.
Austin read the rundown and didn't do his homework.
Center back help on the way.
Oh, God.
Question mark.
So our buddies over at the Post, Cincy, I guess they have a new writer, and I can't remember his name, and it's not listed here, so I apologize. But it says a source familiar with the deal told the Post that Nigerian center back Chidozie Wazim is close to signing a deal with FC Cincinnati. He's a center back for Boa Vista. He's been kind of loaned out, kind of the Matt Miazga syndrome, purchased by Porto in Portugal, one of the premier clubs in Portugal. Has played several, games for them in their league play. He's played in the Champions League, Copa del Rey. He's been loaned out to Turkey, to Croatia. Now he's with Boa Vista in Portugal. And again, I don't know much about his game. He's a big boy, 6'4". He's played 300 games roughly as a professional. So that's wonderful. 27 years old. But this all goes to the roster build and what we're allowed to bring in. We essentially can use Matt Miazga's budget charge on one player. So whatever his combined fee for whatever he's here, as long as it's equal to or less than Miazga, his total cap hit.
It'd be like a third of a season.
This would be great. I mean, if you just look at, Matt Miazga's budget charge, you say, okay, if this guy's going to make 1.5, I know you can fudge some numbers with games and things like that. But, if he's making $1.5 million, you bring him in, or that's what his cap hit would be. So if it makes sense, great financially.
Is it fair, Bryan, to say we have half of a season of a Matt Miazga we can spend on a third of a season of somebody else?
Sure. I don't even look at it that way. It's just whatever he makes total comp for that time frame, I guess. But there's been a lot of things thrown around where, okay, take his charge and put it over for guys. No, you have his budget charge to use on one replacement player. So we have 4 senior roster spots open right now with the removals of Haglund and Miazga. On the cap, you don't get Haglund's cap space back. So you have whatever you need for Miazga's cap hit for that one, and then you essentially have 1.1 to 1.4 million bucks to spend over your next 3 players to supplement the roster, and that's not even including what we got going on with Aaron Bupenza.
So one center back, are we good? Can we wash our hands and say we fixed FC Cincinnati?
Depends
No,
on how many
unfortunately.
times we're missing Miles Robinson.
Oh man, I mean, Leagues Cup. I love Leagues Cup, but at this point, doesn't matter. But yeah, I think we need one more. I really do. I think we need this guy plus one. Well,
We got
Yeah.
a lot of center backs
debatable.
now.
Ian Murphy.
Do we need
on
any?
how
Do we
you
need any
structure those
midfielders? Because I mean,
contracts.
we were going to get Weston McKennie, so somebody thinks we need a midfielder.
He's going to Miami now, I heard.
Oh my gosh!
So we got 4 spots. Okay, so we have 4 spots. I think center back's one of them. Maybe center midfielder. I think you definitely need
Right back
Sorry, 3 spots.
or left
Center-
back.
So
Left
center
back.
back is taken. So 3 spots. You have left back, center midfielder, and flex position. So maybe two center backs. I don't know. I think your fullback position is a huge need right now.
Mhm.
If we're going to go in the sword formation, again, that's not including, what are we going to do in the DP striker role?
Yeah, we need help. That's all I know, and I'm hoping to see some cool stories, rumors coming out here soon as this window opens up.
The window opens up here in a couple days this weekend. I think the 18th, whatever it is.
The 18th.
right?
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
hey, we're going to be seeing some moves. I think,
It's Thursday.
guys, we have to remember what's important now is the cup. And we need to be in the right position for the cup. So if we need to wait a couple weeks to get the right player in, look what happened with Columbus last year. Use that as the example. Make the tough decisions,
Mm.
and move forward.
That was an incredibly tough decision.
Zell Ryan for Rossi. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
What sucks about this whole thing, though, is we were so set on our defensive play going into the season. Like we talked about, maybe we might need one more center back, but we had a lot of center backs, and we had the best center backs in the league. And now we've got 2 out, 1 on red card, but he's going to the Olympics anyway. It was the position besides Lucho Acosta that we were like, we're good. We are good for the season here. And now this is the one position that I don't know that we're scrambling. I don't think Albright scrambles, but I do think I was hoping for somebody to push us forward now, and now we got to solidify our back. I hate
you
that.
lost 2 starters. You lost a great veteran leader, Nick Hagelin. You lost one of the best center backs in Matt Miazga. So yeah, it's realistic. And then your forwards aren't doing anything, so you got to put Kubo up top. You got to move your wingers around. You got or Shano is a fullback now. He's a midfielder. There's a lot
in the midfield.
Yeah, there's a lot to figure out.
Yeah.
Let me throw this one out there. Are we better off if we offload Bupenza and are we better bringing in a DP striker or bringing out someone in the midfield and keeping Kubo up top because he's putting balls in the net? That may be a crazy take, but he's finishing, and we need someone else, I think, that can fill in that role when Obi's not.
I mean, I wouldn't have any problem with having another midfield DP because you have to assume that Obina Nwobodo is not going to be on DP next year. So,
but you can't bring in a DP now.
Even if you unload Bupenza.
Well, I guess you could, but I keep thinking about that. Forward, you have to bring in a forward. You need to bring in somebody to score. Yuya Kubo is great. We love him. But stats would show, the back of his baseball card would say he's not going to score double-digit goals for most of his career. I think this is the first time he scored double-digit goals in like 6-7 seasons, whatever it is. So
it's also the first time he's had this many opportunities up front, though.
I mean, in Germany, the first year
here in Cincinnati,
the COVID year.
Okay,
COVID year.
That was pretty lousy.
He
but
played
I think he was our leading goal scorer, though, right? Or was that
to have him up front with a guy like Lucho dishing the ball?
Man, I get what you're saying, but I see whatever the guy in Columbus right now, Ford in Columbus.
Cucho?
Yeah, Cucho. If you can get a guy like Cucho, throw him up top, who's technical and can play with Lucho,
100%.
holy smackaroos!
100%.
But those guys don't grow on trees,
I was gonna say,
and they're $20 million. So whatever.
Yeah.
Not my money.
Yeah, we will have some money to spend. All right, let's give a big shout out to Beyond Exercise, our second half of the show sponsor. They have a awesome facility up north. They recently moved here in the last year. Nick Hagland and Brandon Vasquez frequently go to the place, especially in the off season. Brandon, when he's in town, they get their physical therapy and strength training needs there. Please go in, talk to Eric, say CST sent you, and check out gobeyondexercise.com to learn more. We really appreciate them. We also appreciate you, those of you that are supporting CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com. We recently saw a pretty cool Reddit post about photography, and I just smiled because a lot of the photographers out there have come through CST, and you guys have helped develop them. So let's give a big shout out to Red Lee, John Davidson, Mike Hudson, Robert Stevens, Laurel Failer, Matthew Adamczyk, Riley Stephen Burke, James Denbrough, Tom Newhouse, Brian Weigel, Brian Gills, Dan Alberst, Will Kychek, Ian Rexroad, Carl Fight, Christina Sharma, Kyle Pohl, Rupesh, Tom Beaversdorf, Jason, who is super average, Ryan Ernst, Wes Anastasi, Rob Pierce, Clifford Adams, Thomas Steth, Pierce Johnson, Mike Prentice, David Wiederhold, Rob Gassell, Bradley Weigel, Alex Carnegus, Dave Tingler, Patrick Lahani, Mike Bowman, Brett Sova, Kevin Cooney, Joe Max, Jack Emery, David Moore, Bob Ryan, Ryan Durkin, Bart Labita, Rob, Brian. I'll let you do this one. What's Rob's last name? No, wait, it's Joe. It's Joe's last name. All right. Rob Triple, Joe
Lori.
Thank you. You inform me. I say it wrong every week. Bill Leopold, Marine de Marais, Jose, John Caffardi, Justin Blair, Ashley Newhouse, Dan Burns, Mark, Andrew Klippinger, Justin Gregory, said Jeffrey Tebbets, The Troll, Jackson Fight, Matt Bauer, Pete Koch, Mark Godsey, Todd Schrienbach, Eric Johnson, Anthony Hudson, and the newest, Daniel Hammer. Thank you so much for keeping CST running since 2016. We appreciate you guys and everybody else that supported us over the years that may not be current active supporters. We do appreciate it. All right. We are already an hour in. We haven't got to every single thing we wanted to get to. Bryan does say here, and I just want to touch on it, that 4 open senior roster spots currently are available, possibly 1 supplemental spot. Technically, we have 2 open international spots, unless Buka is 1, and then we only have 1. Approximately $1.1 to $1.4 million open, plus whatever Miazga made that we got back. So there's still some room to work with there. Copa America. We were talking about Costa's ankle. It did come back that he's okay. We think, we might see him sit out versus Chicago. I doubt it because he's Lucho Acosta. But one person you probably will see sitting out at least for a while is Lionel Messi, who has a pretty nasty ankle injury. So I don't think it's gonna make it all the way to the next FCC match, but I think it's worth noting just in case because we do play him again. All right, let's get your final thoughts, Mr. Bryan Weigel. You're up first.
Oh, just glad to be here. I can't believe I've been attacked this whole week about putting Pat Noonan's name forward as the potential U.S. men's national team coach when I think he's well more qualified than 95% of the applicants out there. And there's dudes saying, "Oh God, I can't remember his name now." He was one of the assistants for the last World Cup, but he was the coach of Colorado that had like 5 wins in 30 games, something stupid. I just whatever. I just think Pat Noonan deserves to be in the conversation. I think he'd be a great international manager. I get that people want some of these names out there, whatever the Havre, whatever is the dude who's the Saudi Arabian head coach, people are all over him. Like, guys, come on, let's have some ethical standards here. So I don't know. I think going domestic would be cool, and I can't think of a better coach than Pat Noonan.
Yeah, I did want to jump all over you because I just don't want it out there.
It's like, this is the thing that pisses me off, is that you guys don't have any faith in Kenny Arena. Everybody's like, oh, we got the best coaching staff ever. Oh, wait, no, we can't let him go.
Why ruin a good thing?
Have the faith.
Let him have. Let him
be
have
all bright.
Let him have Nancy.
Golly.
Let him have Nancy. If you want to.
No, do not. Like, that's the wrong way to go. Like, for U.S. men's national team, let's throw a guy who's had zero international experience, is all about his tactics. Let's just throw him out there.
We've never
Great
done that
idea.
before, have we?
Noonan's tremendous at just letting. Honest to God, like, Noonan's great at setting the team up pragmatically and then letting the guy or the guys cook.
Yeah. Well, having
perfect.
Having Nancy with like 20 wingers would be hilarious to watch, though.
Oh, dude.
That would just be.
He only needs one center back. He only needs one center back, allegedly. Holy crap.
What's with the rumor, though, of Spain's coach interested in the U.S.?
I saw that today. Yeah.
This is like FC Cincinnati 2019, or 2018, whatever it is. Like, throw a name out there. That guy wants a raise.
Exactly. He just won Euros.
Rafa Benitez.
I don't know what his contract looked like or his bonuses look like, but it looks like he's trying to get a bigger bonus.
It looks that way.
I just
might as well. Repeating that's going to be tough.
I just think y'all are cowards that are afraid of losing Noonan. Everything will be fine. We have a great setup. We have a great general manager. The list of coaches that would want to be the head coach here now is ridiculous. And the fact that we have a loaded bench, it's okay.
Y'all are spicy tonight. All right. Thanks, Bryan. We'll move on to the other Bryan Biedenbach for his final thoughts as well.
Yeah, despite Bryan wanting Noonan to leave Cincinnati.
Yeah, he hates our coach.
I would rather Noonan stay, but I can see he deserves an opportunity. But gosh, I guess my final thought is I think we bounce back this week. I'm looking forward to, if Obi's back on the pitch, I think he changes things. He changes the game. He changes formation. We said last week of the 3 games coming up, who are we most afraid of? We all, I think, except for you, Boston, you might have said Charlotte. The rest of us kind of lean toward the Red Bulls. I think we got it out. Hopefully we got it out of the way early. Obi comes back. We can play the formation we want to play and try up front. And I think we bounce back Wednesday night.
Well, we're invincible. Wait, no, we're at home. We're at home for Wednesday, aren't we? Never mind. We're not.
All right, maybe Saturday. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, Justin.
Yeah, I was going to bring up the Chicago match. Is just, I guess if you're going to be listening to this on Tuesday, it's a day away. So it's an opportunity for this team to just kind of wash hands of Saturday's result and get back at it. I mean, it's a good thing in MLS is you play a considerable amount of games, and there's going to be moments like that you leave a sour taste in your mouth. But fortunately, there's always the next opportunity. And like you guys were just mentioning, Pat Noonan is probably one of the best coaches at getting the guys' minds right going into the next match.
Pat Noonan out. Bryan's going to be at the next match with a sign on display. But let's my final thoughts are I'm actually looking forward to Leagues Cup only because I want to all the names we've been throwing around here the last month that could possibly fill in. I want to see them. I want to see these FCC2 guys get a call up. I want to see the guys on the bench that don't get to play very much. Let's figure out who the 2025 depth players are, and hopefully we have somebody shine in this.
No, you don't.
Don't think we got a player? I think we got to.
We're not going to be calling up all these random FCC2 guys. We get limited time.
I think Trillo's gonna get a call up. I think he
Yeah.
definitely will go.
Noonan's not going to be here anyway to coach him. So
Oh my God.
I'm not sure. Brian, does Leagues Cup have the exact same rules as Seedling?
Yes.
Well,
You can't.
why wouldn't
it's
they allow
all
you to call-
MLS? It's all in the union contract. Yes.
Well, we still haven't used any, so we're
Yes, we
still
have.
fine. What? Who?
We've used several. We used
Dado.
what?
Dado was early in
No,
the season,
not
wasn't
Dado. It's not Dado. It's Betancourt. No, Betancourt. Whatever. It's like 2 weeks ago, and then we used another guy. I think 2 or 3 guys, but they get two or 4, whatever it is. Whatever. We can do whatever we want in Leagues Cup. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, we still have plenty of guys.
I do care, but I don't care.
Yeah, we still got plenty of guys that don't get to see the field very much. You know, we
Great analysis.
we got this young guy named Bupenza that never gets to play,
Oh,
and we could try him out, see
Wow.
how he is. Someone said, "What's up with FCC ticket availability? I used to be able to get them, and now they
ticket
show."
availability.
Yeah, they are. Keep checking. I looked at this. Betlinger, I think that's your name.
I was told that they're sold out. For
They're
the rest
not.
Of the year.
They're not. They go in and out. They just don't like turn them all on.
It's Rupesh stealing him on, hoarding them for his friends. That's what it is. Thanks, Rup.
But
yeah, I think that's the problem is that they allow you to get 4 or 5 tickets, and then people don't eat they'll just eat them because they're free tickets, and then they don't get reshuffled back in. So I've been to a FCC 2 game where it was sold out. Now I'm not putting this out there in the airwaves to do this, but it just so happened that we were trying to get one in the parking lot. Just could log in, and surprisingly it was sold out, but they were like, nah, you're good, you can go in. So
move the team to Dayton. Move the team to Dayton. Nothing's good in Kentucky.
they're rebranding it. They're rebranding it to a Kentucky brand. Brian.
Commonwealth,
So
Dayton,
dumb.
Dutch Lions. Let's go.
They're paying to give NKU a new field. They're not moving.
FCC2, yes, they are.
Yeah. So they're definitely staying there. But they do put the tickets out too early. Somehow tickets do come back because I have seen them after they're supposedly sold out. So I don't know if they're releasing them later or if people are turning them back in. Somehow something's happening. So just check. Check the week before the games as you're going. There is that big game in October. I think you can grab tickets tomorrow before 10, or was it today before 10? They are playing at TQL Stadium in October. So I would encourage everybody to just go fill TQL for the 2s for that match. It'll be pretty fun. And hopefully that'll be a blast. Thank you, FCC, for making that an October match because it's like a midday. And I'm just like, imagine if it was Saturday, noon. You just roast like a little potato in that stadium. So hopefully, I do appreciate the thought on that. Well, thanks for tuning in to this week's Cincinnati Soccer Talk. We are glad you stopped by or listen to the audio podcast. We have 2 big ones this week, a Wednesday match, a Saturday match. We will see you again next week to break down what is hopefully a 6-point week and a solution to all of our problems as the trade window opens up. So we'll be fun here in the next month as we break these out.